Hello and very warm welcome at Amish Cycle 5858. I am Amish Cycle. Foreign news have been reported by American, European, Asian, African, Australian news channels and the news agencies. So please let's go to the headlines.
Tonight, the unrelenting severe weather threats from coast to coast. California bracing for another round of high-intensity rain, while new bands of dangerous lake-effect snow pummel the Northeast. Floodwaters overwhelming roads in San Diego. Cars submerged. Entire blocks covered with water. And more heavy rain is on the way. Millions under alert tonight, and flight delays already stacking up, kicking off one of the busiest travel weekends of the year. The terrifying new details about what caused a deadly New Year's Eve fire. Officials blaming sparklers in champagne bottles for an inferno, leaving dozens dead. How one survivor made it out alive, and the mother still trying to find her missing son. Foiled terror plot. A North Carolina teen charged with planning an ISIS-inspired New Year's Eve attack using hammers and butcher knives. How the FBI says it stopped him. Search for a killer. A dentist and his wife fatally shot inside their home with their young children nearby. The manhunt tonight. The chaotic traffic stop. A man trying to flee on foot, tackled by officers. A teen speeding away in a truck, then slamming into a police car. Scary moments. A stunt at a bowl game going off course when a man in a parachute is suddenly caught in the goalpost netting before falling to the ground. Inside NASA's new mission, the astronauts preparing to travel deeper into space than any human ever before. And freezing canine rescue. Firefighters breaking through ice to save a yellow lab trapped in a frozen pond. Nightly news starts right now.
This is NBC Nightly News with Tom Yamas.
On this Friday night, pinpointing the cause, what likely ignited the tragic New Year's Eve fire at a Swiss bar. Plus heart-wrenching pleas from families of people still missing. The U.S. president's stern warning to Iran if it kills protesters. As questions grow about Trump's health. Critical repairs in the dead of winter, when Calgary's water main break will be fixed, and the damage from a power outage on a Manitoba First Nation. Plus, how out of office is out. The public servants who can no longer work from home.
Global National with Donna Friesen. Reporting tonight, Colleen Christie.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. We are getting a clear picture tonight of how that New Year's Eve fire tore through a Swiss ski resort bar, leaving 40 dead and more than 100 badly injured, many of them young people. Investigators now say sparklers that were held too close to the ceiling appear to have started the blaze. But as Redmond Shannon reports, it's little comfort to anguished families in mourning or still searching for missing loved ones. And a warning, some of the details are upsetting.
तुम्हें कहीं जाने की जरूरत नहीं है. अब हम घर बैठे बैठे ही ग्रोसरी कर सकते हैं. ये लो बाजार ऐप, वन स्टॉप सॉल्यूशन.
बाजार ऐप? ये कैसे मैं भूल सकती हूँ? बाजार ऐप is an online grocery application. Tout ce que je veux, c'est retrouver mon enfant. Tout ce que je veux, c'est retrouver mon fils.
All I want is to find my child, to find my son, says Laetitia Brodar-Seep. The photo she holds was taken 2 hours before 16-year-old Arthur headed out with friends on New Year's Eve.
J'ai reçu bonne année maman, je t'aime.
At midnight, he texted me, Happy New Year, I love you. I responded, I love you, have a good time.
Si vous l'avez vu dans les hôpitaux, si vous l'avez vu à la morgue.
She's asking anyone who may have seen him in a hospital or even a morgue to let her know. Swiss authorities say giving those answers to the many affected families is their top priority, but warn that it could take days or longer to identify those who died in Le Constellation bar. Along alongside the 40 dead. Police say 119 were injured. Many are critically ill. 6 are so seriously burned they have yet to be identified. Most of the injured are Swiss, but many also come from countries across Europe, primarily Italy and France. As Switzerland struggles to deal with the crisis, around 50 patients have been or will be sent to burn units in other countries.
Mio figlio sta male, però sta bene.
This father of an injured Italian teenager says his son is doing badly but alive, with burns to 30 to 40% of his body.
Tout laisse à penser que le feu est parti.
The local prosecutor says the most likely cause of the fire appears to be these: sparklers on bottles held too close to the ceiling, causing it to catch fire. Photos apparently taken in the bar that night show what could have been the moment the fire started. Investigators are looking into whether the foam on the ceiling was compliant, with focus also on emergency access and the bar's capacity. Police have spoken with witnesses and the 2 French owners of the bar. Investigators say there are no formal suspects at this point, but potential charges could include negligent arson and negligent homicide. Colleen?
Redmond Shannon in London. Thanks, Redmond. U.S. President Donald Trump is warning Iran that the U.S. will come to the aid of protesters if any more are killed by the regime. At least 7.
Good evening, everyone. I am Tom Shalhoub in for Greg on this very special edition of Gutfeld. Since it's the first show of the new year, let's see how some of our friends are celebrating 2026. Joe Biden is replacing his embalming fluid with champagne. Greg is writing 2026 new Joy Behar jokes. Yeah. Kamala Harris is still nursing a killer hangover. Rashida Tlaib is shaving 2026 into her beard. And finally, Zohran Mamdani is working hard at pretending to like Jews. Right. So, New York City is ringing in the new year with a new mayor, Zohran Mamdani. The man who proved anyone can make it in this town, as long as they're a Democrat who doesn't kill the elderly.
Yes.
Zohran was sworn in at City Hall on New Year's Day as New Yorkers got started on their New Year's resolution, throwing themselves in front of more subway trains. He was the first mayor to be sworn in on the Koran. Meanwhile, a few blocks over, the Freedom Tower was saying, "Hey guys, remember me?" Then he gave his inauguration speech, or what I like to call the Big Apple's last will and testament. Let's see what Zohran has planned. Does he stand alongside us?
I stand alongside you, the tens of thousands of you gathered here in Lower Manhattan, warmed against the January chill by the resurgent flame of hope.
Okay, January cold, hope warm, got it. But that warmth is coming from BLM lighting police cars on fire.
We will replace the frigidity of rugged individualism with the warmth of collectivism.
What is this, the Karl Marx Weather Channel? So collectivism is warm too. Siberia would beg to differ.
The only expectation I seek to reset is that of small expectations.
Hey, don't knock small expectations, they're good. We tell our studio audience Greg is 2 feet tall, so they're pleasantly surprised when they see he's 3'5". But okay, what are these big expectations of yours?
Beginning today, we will govern expansively and audaciously. We may not always succeed, but never will we be accused of lacking the courage to try.
It's a will like that got Mamdani all those job offers from his mom.
We expect greatness from the cooks wielding 1,000 spices, from those who stride out onto our Broadway stages, and from our starting point guard at Madison Square Garden. Let us demand the same from those who work in government.
Did you just compare the Knicks to government employees? I think you're thinking of the Pacers.
I stand alongside countless more New Yorkers, watching from cramped kitchens in Flushing and barbershops in East New York, from cell phones propped against the dashboards of parked taxicabs at LaGuardia. I stand alongside construction workers in steel-toed boots and halal cart vendors whose knees ache from working all day.
Pretty sure he confused halal cart vendors with prostitutes. But wow, he's trying really hard to be inclusive.
I stand alongside over 1 million New Yorkers who voted for this day nearly 2 months ago. And I stand just as resolutely alongside those who did not.
Sure, like cops, Jews, and those people in white neighborhoods.
Hello and very good morning to you. This is Sky News at 3 a.m. here in the UK. These are your latest headlines. Swiss officials say sparklers on champagne bottles likely caused the deadly New Year's ski resort fire, which has killed at least 40 people and injured 119 others. The first victim is named as an Italian teenager remembered for his love of life and golf. Amongst the missing, a former pupil at a school in Hertfordshire, Charlotte Nidan, Arthur Brodard, aged 16, from Switzerland, and Alice Kalurgis, a 15-year-old Swiss Greek national. Also this morning, Donald Trump threatens to intervene if Iran kills peaceful protesters, saying the US will rescue them. And the NHS rolls out a chickenpox vaccine for the very first time. Swiss ski are threatening with some to be identified. Our internal correspondent John Sparks reports from the scene.
It was an unsettling sight, a heartbreaking scene in the middle of this affluent ski town. The father of an 18-year-old came to the place where his son was seen. Although the Constellation bar had been wrapped up in plastic. The police had said little. His boy presumed dead. It was more than he could bear. Local residents tried to console him.
I'm feeling in a deep tensions between a very deep madness of anger of how this catastrophe and all those life has been ripped off from the livings, and also the tension of what will come out of this, what will get out of those lives who's been burned, lives who died so early.
The New Year's Eve bash was in full swing when the Constellation caught fire. The most probable cause, say police, sparklers stuffed into the top of champagne bottles. Within a couple of minutes, the flames had spread. The premises turned into an inferno. And partygoers had to fight their way out of the building. Everybody here has been affected by this, like Jacopo Bucci from Rome. He was watching as people fled for their lives.
Siamo arrivati prima dei soccorsi, abbiamo visto delle persone. We arrived before.
Today, police search for a gunman after a deadly drive-by shooting in Melbourne's inner north.
And shots are fired from a moving vehicle at those two persons. It certainly appears to be targeted, but
A spearfisher becomes the fourth person to drown in New South Wales since New Year's Eve. Sparklers on champagne bottles believed to be behind a fire which killed dozens of New Year revellers at a Swiss ski resort. And Tesla loses its title as the world's best-selling electric vehicle company, putting China's BYD in the driver's seat. Hello and welcome to ABC News. I'm Melissa McKay. Police are appealing for witnesses to a drive-by shooting which left a young male victim dead in Melbourne's inner north overnight. Reporter Natasha Shapova has more from Melbourne.
Police are very much still trying to piece together exactly what happened in this inner Melbourne suburb of Fitzroy in the early hours of this morning. It was just after midnight when a police officer heard two gunshots and he was stationed just metres away at Fitzroy Police Station. He rushed to the corner of King William Street and Brunswick Street where he located a male laying on the footpath with severe head injuries. He performed first aid and more police and the ambulance arrived shortly afterwards, but unfortunately that male died at the scene. Now, police have told us that they're still working to identify that victim. They do believe he is a youth, but it's unclear whether he's a child or over the age of 18. They're also trying to locate a second male who they believe was with him at the time. Now, police say it was a drive-by shooting occurring from inside a vehicle, and they believe it was targeted as well. Now, those shooters are still at large. We did hear from Victoria Police Detective Acting Inspector Brett Meadows. Here's what he had to say.
was another male person with the victim at the time that's been captured on CCTV footage. My understanding is you'll be able to have a look at that footage to see if you can share that with the community. We're asking that male person to come forward. We still don't know who that is. We believe that that male person can assist us with those inquiries. But I'd say it is a targeted attack. 12 o'clock in the morning, we've got two persons walking down the street when shots are fired from a moving vehicle at those two persons. It certainly appears to be targeted, but once again, it's still early in the investigation.
No arrests have been made at this stage, but the homicide squad has taken over the investigation and they're combing through CCTV footage and other evidence, but they are calling for anyone with additional information or who may have witnessed the event to come forward.
This is Asia Now.
It's 11 a.m. in Singapore and Hong Kong, 8:30 in New Delhi, and 10 o'clock in Jakarta. I'm Keith Liu. At this hour, the U.S. and Iran trade threats over escalating protests in the country. President Trump warns of intervention while Iran vows a response, calling its security a red line. Japanese Prime Minister Sanae Takaichi says she'll visit U.S. President Donald Trump this spring after a call. She adds the exchange on the Indo-Pacific with no mention of China amid rising tensions. Swiss authorities say sparklers atop champagne bottles held under a foam-clad ceiling likely ignited the fire that killed 40 people at a ski resort. Investigators begin identifying victims as dozens injured treated abroad. And China's BYD becomes the world's top electric vehicle maker, overtaking Tesla. The Elon Musk-owned company reports falling sales for the second straight year amid rising competition and expiring U.S. tax breaks.
Africa News. The news.
A multi-story building under construction in Kenya's capital Nairobi collapsed on Friday, leaving an unknown number of people trapped beneath the rubble. Rescue workers have been digging through the debris looking for survivors. According to local media, the building was 16 stories high. The Kenya Red Cross said a response team was at the scene in an area of Nairobi known as South Sea. Authorities have not yet indicated why the building might have collapsed or how many people may have been killed, although the death toll is not expected to be high. Building collapses are common in Nairobi due to high demand for housing and developers often bypassing regulations or simply violating building codes. After 8 buildings collapsed and killed 15 people in Kenya in 2015, the presidency ordered an audit of buildings across the country to see if they were up to code. The National Construction Authority found that 58% of buildings in Nairobi were unfit for habitation.
Libya has confirmed that the United Kingdom will analyze the black box from a plane crash in Turkey last month that killed a senior Libyan military delegation, including Army Chief General Mohammed Al-Haddad. Speaking at a press conference in Tripoli, Transport Minister said Britain had been jointly accepted by Libya and Turkey to carry out the analysis. Under the Chicago Convention, the country analyzing the black box must be neutral. France is a manufacturing country of the aircraft, and the crew was also French. Therefore, France is not entitled to participate. However, the United Kingdom was accepted by both Libya and Turkey. General Haddad and 4 aides were killed on December 23 when their Falcon 50 jet crashed shortly after takeoff from Ankara, citing an electrical failure.
Gabon's President Brice Oligui Nguema started the new year with a major government reshuffle. It's the latest step in an ongoing political transition since Nguema took power in 2023. Hugues Alexandre Barreau Chambrier becomes Vice President of the Republic, while Herman Imongo leaves the Ministry of Interior to take over as Vice President of the government. Imongo's promotion is being seen as a reward for managing September's legislative and parliamentary elections, which resulted in Nguema's Democratic Union of Builders Party winning more than 2/3 of the 145 parliamentary seats. Nguema also signed a decree formalizing the makeup of the new government. His team now has 31 ministers, up from 30. Nguema won a presidential election in April, 2 years after leading a coup that ended 55 years of the Bongo family rule in the country.
In Conakry, supporters of junta leader Mamadi Doumbouya expressed their joy after he was declared the winner of Guinea's latest presidential election held on December 28. My feelings are that I'm happy. I know that Doumbouya won. He's our president and the victory belongs to him. Doumbouya has won over 86% of the votes counted so far, according to incomplete results. This poll was the country's first election since the 2021 coup.
Il n'a pas simplement remporté parce qu'il est aimé simplement par la population.
He did not win simply because he is loved by the people, but because he works. Since he came to power, we have all seen that he is putting in the work. He is doing a good job, and today all Guineans are satisfied with this man's work.
Il est satisfait du travail de ce monsieur.
The election was the culmination of a transition process that began 4 years ago after Doumbouya ousted President Alpha Condé.
Thank you for watching Amish Shakil 5858. I am Amish Shakil. I hope you will visit again. Have a good life. Bye-bye.